Hey guys, Rob here, and today you join me for part 5 of how to build the Pocher 1/8 scale Lamborghini Huracan. Now, if you watched the last episode, part 4, you will have seen that I painted all the body, and since then I've just masked up the body and painted some of the matte black areas as well, so just the inside of the dashboard here. And that is basically going to enable me to continue on with the interior. So back in one of the earlier episodes, I got up to this stage here, number 2, where I built all the interior and I built the dashboard, but this stage 3 requires the body section so I can start mounting all the interior pieces. Now, I've pre-assembled some of these as well, so as you can see here, I've added some decals and the little rear vision mirror and sun visors as well, which actually work on the model, and I've actually added the other parts to here as well, so just the seat belts ready for installation, and I've also added some more of these photo etched Tremonia speaker grills, as you can see here. So I just got those off eBay, but yeah, check out Tremonia for all their photo etched parts. So that is now going to enable me to move forward and get all of the interior into the body shell here. And then once that is done, we'll just keep moving forward on the assembly. So we've also got the main bulkhead front firewall here as well, with the brake system that's got to be fitted. So once I actually get this part done, we'll actually have a finished interior into the main section of the body. So let's go. We'll make a start and start getting this all together. Okay, so I have to say, as the first update, that was quite challenging to get those pieces in. Now what I had to do, I had to basically take the screws out of the roof lining just to insert these side pieces down so that the plastic actually sits inside the edge of the metal body here. So yeah, not the best fit for those pieces to go in after the roof liner and the back window section. And as you can see, I was stuffing around with these two separate pieces as well on the inside. So there's a piece with the speaker grill in it which goes into the bottom of the window that you can see here, and then the other A-pillar trim goes on there as well. Now they don't actually fit up too good here either. They recommend to glue these front pieces in there, but let me see if it can show you. I'm not sure whether you can see that with the light because it's black, but the actual join here isn't the best, to be honest, but I'll see if I can make that a bit tighter when I put the dashboard in. But yeah, not the easiest thing to do with that particular section. So yeah, just a tip there, what I had to do, I just had to take those screws out, loosen the piece off so that I could get the pieces in there. But we'll keep moving forward. Okay, so that was quite a bit of stuffing around there to do the seat belts. I would advise to actually glue the seat belt buckle onto the actual material as it just slides down. So it's just not going to stay up there by itself, only at an angle, which looks a little bit weird. But yeah, pretty much nothing has really easily fitted in on this model. I really had to force the dashboard in. It's got a couple of plastic lugs which go into the metal underneath, and you screw from the bottom. Yeah, I really had to, as you can see, force these side pieces of plastic to really push it into shape. This is definitely not going together as smoothly as when I built the Pocher 1/8 scale Aventador. But we've just got to keep persisting and moving forward. So, but that is the interior into the main section of the body anyway, as you can see through there. Also, the fit is not very good, so you can actually see a gap through here at the back. This is the actual interior pan that just doesn't meet up with the other interior panel. So I'm hoping that you won't see that when we keep moving forward with the model. But yeah, the fit of these parts is not really too crash hot, to be honest. Yeah, you can see it from this side as well. You can see the gap through here. It doesn't recommend to glue those, but if I glue those to the interior pan, they come away from the body there. So just something I'm going to have to live with, I think. But yeah, definitely the fit and finish of this Huracan kit is not as good as the Aventador, that's for sure. There's another thing inside. I noticed that the center console, I'm not sure whether you can see it through here where my finger is, the center console doesn't really click into the interior pan there. But again, I'm hoping that when the main floor section goes on here, that will push it up a bit tighter. But yeah, a little bit of a challenge with a few of these little bits. And yeah, I stuffed around with the seat belts. They've got to go through a hole in the floor here, so I just cut the ribbon material to a point so I could actually feed it through the hole. And on the bottom here, I've just super glued the fabric just to the floor pan, just to hold that seat belt tight, or taut, I should say. But yeah, we'll move on with the assembly. So next step, I've actually got to build the firewall section with the brake booster and everything on that, and then that can assemble into the model here. So we'll keep moving forward, and hopefully things get a little bit easier from here. Okay, so that is the interior, all the firewall and the main floor section onto the model. So little bit of trouble trying to put some of the screws in. I'm going to have to go through this whole model now. I mentioned in one of the earlier episodes that I've got a little tap set that was bought off eBay for the Pocher models. I think it is a necessity to basically any screws that have to go into metal parts to use this tap and clean out the thread. It's just going to stop the risk of snapping a screw off. But look, overall pretty happy with how this has come together. So this is I guess 1/3 of the model together now. Still has to have the doors and everything, but I think what we'll do now is we'll move on to the next steps. Now, I did in a earlier episode, part 3 I believe, I went through and built all the engine, and I did get to the stage of putting it in the subframe, and I think I did fuel tanks. I'll just have to check, but I'll basically, yes I did, because I got all the exhaust system in. So basically I can now move forward onto part 13, which is the hubs and the brakes and suspension components. Now, someone reached out to me on Instagram and said that he's building one of these models as well, and that he'd already put the suspension in, and the suspension, the model sat way too high. So he recommended cutting one of the rings out of the springs. But at this stage, I probably want to wait until I see how my model sits, and then maybe come back and actually cut one of the rings out of the springs. But we'll move forward now onto this stage, because once I get this rear and front suspension done, there's not too many more steps, and then I can actually mount it onto the body section that I've just put together. So we'll try and make this episode and get all the way up to this stage. We'll see how we go, but for now we'll move on to the suspension components. Okay, so that is the rear brake assemblies now screwed onto this rear subframe section. So not too hard there. I found the easiest way to screw the top of the shock absorber on first and then line up the upper and lower arms and screw those in place. So you might have seen that I actually inserted one of the little black screws through the plastic piece first and then screwed the whole piece on, rather than trying to sit the little plastic bracket there and then try and drive a screw through that. So it was just easier to fit all those with the screw already fitted through one of the little plastic parts. There is a little connector that goes on here that holds this top control arm, but I'm going to leave that off. That's the sway bar link. I'm going to leave that off just in case I want to reset the spring height a bit later on once I get the model more together to see a bit of weight. I don't want this model sitting too high. I want it to have really good stance. So that's pretty much it. I did also fit the little lower brake hose in there, which I forgot to show in filming before. And I just put a little touch of matte black paint on the bleed cap as well on the calipers. But yeah, I think it's time to move forward to the next stage. So what we've got here is just the top section of the engine bay that goes on top of here, and then we'll be able to actually mount this to the center part of the body. So we'll move on to this section now, and yeah, we'll be close to getting this all bolted to the body. Okay, so that was a little bit tricky. So what I had to do first was actually attach the hoses on the bottom of the storage tank for the radiators, as you can see there in that step there. That was a little bit tricky to glue those two on before I press this one down. The other ones that went to these little black boxes here, not too bad to get the tweezers in there to bend those around and connect it up. And obviously the last two that I brought through this subframe here onto this little check valve on here. But other than that, everything that I did in these last couple of steps, I actually did re-tap all the screw holes out because the screws were tight on some of the previous steps. That made it a lot easier to get all the screws in, but that is basically the whole rear section done now. So I think we're basically ready to screw this onto the main part of the body. So this is going to be a bit of a milestone moment to get to this part. Just got another little canister that I have to put together, but I'll do that first and then I will attach this part to the body. Okay, so that is going to wrap up today's part 5. Now the only part that I didn't install was actually the cross brace from the engine, because I think I'm going to add some carbon fiber decal to that just to make it look a little bit better. But I didn't show, there was the couple of screws that attached here and here to the main part of the body. There was actually 4 screws on the underside as well, but again, I forgot to turn on the record on the camera. But other than that, that was pretty straightforward the way that bolted to the body. So yeah, I think so far pretty happy with this. This is a bit of a milestone that we've got this far together so far. Obviously we're going to keep moving forward, which will be the front section of the model, and then I guess bodywork and things like that. But yeah, really happy with the way this is turning out so far. I think it looks pretty cool. A few little tricky bits with the hoses, but other than that, not too bad. So yeah, as I said, this is going to wrap up part 5 of how to build the Pocher 1/8 Lamborghini Huracan. If you're new to the channel, why don't you subscribe, smash the like button if you like this video, and stay tuned for part 6 where we'll continue on with this build. So yeah, really happy with how this is coming out so far. I think it looks pretty cool and it'll be a very unique Huracan. I haven't seen anyone do an AVO version of the Huracan, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, thanks for watching Rob's Model Cars.